real estate companies in existence for 2 years. By the next year, they say they are taking their sales team to Dubai. With whose money? They are using buyers' money to take salespeople to Dubai. I mean, those are the signs. When you see people that are doing that, you can already tell the problem is in the offing. It's only a matter of time it's going to happen. Then what happens is that they do that, finish the resources on that project. There's not enough money to finish that project. Then they start the next one. And look, I'm sorry to say many of these guys are running advanced Ponzi schemes.
Welcome to Deal Landers, the podcast that uncovers the secrets to closing deals like a pro. I'm your host, Amara Musa, and on each episode, we invite industry leaders from real estate and beyond to share their insights and success tips. So whether you're a seasoned professional or you're just starting out, our guests will equip you with the strategies you need to elevate your deal-making skills to land that next big deal. Now, on this episode, we are speaking to Temitope Runsewe. He is the managing director of Dutum Company Limited, a leading construction and engineering firm in Nigeria. Now, under Temitope's leadership, Dutum has completed iconic projects in Africa, ranging from housing estates, hotels, commercial buildings, bridges, airport hangars, roads, you name it. If it is to build it, Dutum has done it. And fair to say that his track record is enviable. Now, Temitope is an icon of consistent excellence in Nigeria's real estate industry. And today we are so privileged to have him as a guest on Deal Landers to discuss a topic I have been eager to talk about, especially as a real estate agent in Nigeria. Our topic today is building trust, navigating the developer-client relationship in Nigeria's real estate landscape. Welcome to Deal Landers, Tope. We're so happy to have you here.
So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So, Tope, I'm so happy to have you here because you wear two hats from my perspective. You wear the hat of a builder, and you also wear the hat of a developer as well. And which is why I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, because I think you're well positioned to, answer questions and give us your perspective on things. Now, to just kick things into motion, I wanted to just ask you from a practical point of view, from your experiences as a developer and as a builder, what event has taken place in your professional life or career that has shaped your perspective or formed your perspective on the developer-client relationship when it comes to building projects or developments?
Thank you, Amara. So, like you said, I wear two hats. At the core of our business is construction capacity, which we provide to developers and several others. So that gives us insights into generally what is going on between the client and that's the buyers, the developer, and sometimes ourselves, because when we are building, we experience everybody, right? And we actually have two clients most of the time. The client who is paying us and the client who is paying the person that is paying us.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've had several experiences, but the one that comes to mind most recently was a project we started as contractors, construction contractors. And when we began the project, the client of the client visited the site, which means one of the buyers. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that they had, bought into the project a while back, and they were surprised the project was just starting. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we don't know anything about that.
Because your relationship...
Our relationship...
at the core is with the developer,
right? And so, but I've always trained our team to be warm to people, approach them, and just be able to say, oh, this is who we are. You need to refer to, so and so. But in this case, the buyer just wouldn't budge, and it became an issue. I was called, and
Wait, because you're on site?
I happened to be close by.
Okay.
So I just said, okay.
Why wasn't
okay.
the developer called and not you?
Okay, so you know that my team will call me.
Okay, so
And
it was from
my
your
team, yes, my team. So most of the times when we're on these sites, right, we're usually the first port of call. It's not all the time that the client themselves, the developer, will have a representative, because the idea of what we do is that, our motto for developers is to give them peace of mind from a construction point of view. So you really don't need to be on the site. Just give me the site, give us funds as I went due, and go and sell your next project. Mm-hmm. That's what we, So, so my guys were on site. This person comes, starts asking questions, and I've told them many times, it's better to just keep quiet. If you're, because anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of whatever, right? So they called me, and I happened to be close by, so I just drove in and, spoke to the person, and it was a lady, and she was not very pleased. Oh, they've promised this, they've promised that. And I said, look, as you can see, we just started working. We don't know much about what your arrangement is. And then she wanted to put us on the spot. When would it finish?
Right.
Which is what ultimately, and I just had to be diplomatic. I said, look, from a construction point of view, we should be done by this time. But there are many factors that come into play.
Like funding.
The funding, all of that, and we don't have full control of that. So I will really advise that you speak to, your client.
Right.
And then I put a call through to a representative of the developer and said, look, this is what is going on. He asked for the name, and I told him, and he said, don't worry, we'll handle it, And,
Okay.
I just spoke with the woman, and, she said something that got my attention. She said, if it's you I used to meet every time I come here, we will not be here, because we will not be fighting, because all the other people that I meet just tell me stories. Nobody has ever really, broken it down to me the way you have. I said, well, you see, the thing is, we are construction people. So I can break down the construction process to you in a way that will tell you, look, if you're expecting this thing to happen in a week, it's not going to happen.
Right.
I'm like, look, we're on this floor now. This building is going to so number of floors. When we finish the carcass, then we'll now, start the process of the finishing. So realistically, you can't have your unit earlier, and that is us being fast. You can't have it earlier than 18 months. Initially she flared up. I said, look, I'm not going to tell you what is not possible. It is what it is. So you have to, deal with it. I said, no, they promised me by end of this year. I said, well, I was not the one that made that promise, but I will tell you, construction process is not going to happen.
But Tope, you see, that's also that last statement that you made. But they told me this. They being developer. I mean, for instance, you even as an agent, you get even developers communicating to you. For instance, I'll give an example of a project. A developer communicated to me, Amara, I'm going to finish this in 12 months. I want you to go help me bring buyers on this. It's going to be done in 12 months. I guarantee you. Even I was speculative, but he guaranteed me that he had the funds, everything was on ground, and, it was going to be a smooth process. Now, 1 year passed, 2 years passed, 3 years, and I'm like, Oga.
What's going on?
But you said 12 months. In fact, we wrote an email to the company saying, when things got heated up, saying, you promised that you were going to finish in 12 months. And they turned around and sent me an email and said, there is no way in hell that a project will finish in 12 months. Everybody knows that the standard time is 18 to 24 months. I felt like there was a slap in my face.
Right.
Because here I am, the face of your product, persuading people
I'm making promises.
and making promises on your behalf based on the trust I have in you, and hoping that you have the integrity to be able to uphold that. So why do developers do this?
So, you see, the industry needs some regulation. First of all, everybody now is a developer. That's the beginning of the problem.
I see.
People who have no business being in the business, because it has a relatively low barrier to entry. If you can speak well, you can bamboozle your way through.
And if you have money.
But I mean, if you have money, is even the next part of it, because what I find is that many of the people that we're even dealing with don't even have money. They just have sweet mouth, right? Sweet mouth, no integrity, showed up from nowhere. They saw somebody else make money. Their friend that was with them suddenly starts driving an SUV. You're like, in 2 years, they started driving an SUV. And they don't really investigate how that happened. They don't really care either how that happens. And so you find a developer who just suddenly started this project. They speak to good people like you gather money for them, they receive their first $500 million and then 500 million naira, and then in a month's time, they're driving an LX 570.
And even buy for their wife.
One to match, one LX 570 each. Baby, you've been good to me. You've been with me when it was tough. Now, these are our 500 million. We have arrived. First of all, you have already destroyed the project, because what you have done, many of them, they will say, oh yeah, but I've calculated my profit. How do you take profit out? You've not done anything. You're already taking profit out.
Management.
That is the beginning of problem. So you do that, no sense of prudent management of resources, no delayed gratification. You see money, you start, spending it, celebrating, popping champagne, carrying your everybody to Dubai and everything. You've not even, I see real estate companies in existence for 2 years. By the next year, they say they are taking their sales team to Dubai. With whose money? They are using buyers' money to take salespeople to Dubai. I mean, those are the signs. When you see people that are doing that, you can already tell that problem is in the offing. It's only a matter of time it's going to happen. Then what happens is that they do that, finish the resources on that project. There's not enough money to finish that project. Then they start the next one. And look, I'm sorry to say, many of these guys are running advanced Ponzi schemes. They take this one, you can't finish, they start the next one, the money from that one, they use it to finish this one, and then they are on to the next. That is why many of them cannot stop. They just need to open the next project to stay afloat, because the thing is sinking, right? And the problem is, let's say you learn from that, because if you do that a little bit and you learn your lessons, you can quickly recover.
Right.
But many of them never learn. They keep on doing it and digging deeper holes, and then the thing just doesn't stop. That is where we have a problem. And unfortunately, there are more of them doing it like that. And so it has created a mess in the industry.
I'm happy you said there are more of them, which means they are good guys.
Yes.
Because they are good guys.
Yes, they are good guys.
They are good guys.
Of course
I've met excellent developers.
Yeah.
But then because of these bad experiences, a lot of people's perceptions have been twisted.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, I personally get clients, I'm trying to, convince them about a project. And then you hear things like, is it not these Nigerian developers? These ones that will take your money and run away.
Yeah.
So how can we bridge that gap? We have the bad eggs and we have the good eggs. But you know how it is. A bad egg can make the whole place rotten.
Correct.
But how can we sort of bridge this gap of miscommunication, misunderstanding, or generalizing that every developer is a bad developer in Nigeria? Because Tope, there are good developers out there building excellent things, keeping to timelines. And even when the timelines are cut a bit short, they know how to communicate to clients.
Correct.
So how can we have, especially for clients in diaspora who have a bleak idea of what development is in Nigeria. How can we bridge this gap?
So I think there's no other way to do it than just to continue to communicate, looking for more ways to, where you've found a good developer, you now need to sell the story. You just sell it. There might be some instruments that the developer can provide, maybe guarantees, just to give extra comfort, maybe some insurance products that says, okay, if you pay this, you have this guarantee. If not, this insurance product is going to protect you. There was a friend who I know was trying to do something like create a trust, like create a fund that escrows off-taker resources. So if off-taker wants to buy into a project, they don't pay the developer directly, they pay this trust, and then the trust releases the money in installments, and they charge a fee. But of course, that then adds a cost onto the project. But what he was trying to do was bridge this gap to say, look, they are still good people. You guys can trust us. We'll keep the money, and then we'll pay them in installments. That's an instrument. The other way is track record, right? Unfortunately, that puts the upcoming guys at a disadvantage, but it is what it is. You go with people with track record. They've done it. They've delivered one. You've seen how they communicate. You look at the pedigree of the people, even if they've not delivered projects, you look at their background, what have they done, what did they used to do before, you ask questions. You can't err in excess when it comes to doing due diligence, because many of the people who are providing their resources, especially people in diaspora, they work hard. Some of it is their life savings.
Honestly.
They want to build in Nigeria. They want to have a part of their country. So you can't say you've done too much in trying to protect their investments by doing further due diligence on the person. This is something that I've actually come to realize, that you can't get a good product from a bad person.
You can't get a
good product from a bad person.
Damn. We have to quote that. You can't get a good product from a bad person.
So when is like, how they say, a good tree bears good fruit.
Right.
A bad tree will bear bad fruit. So you have to just have an understanding of who are the people behind this, who is the person. Can you ask a few questions? How does this person deal? Is this person lousy? Is this person irresponsible? Because that's the way he's going to treat people's money.
Very correct.
That's just it. If someone is just lousy, irresponsible, you put a lot of money in his hands, the money is going to evaporate.
Right.
And it's going to. And what I find most shocking is that there are many of those who have been able to do this and do it and repeat and repeat. I'm wondering, how are they still in the industry? It is, sometimes shocking that, that can happen. So you have to just do your due diligence.
But we also know that no one is perfect.
Of course.
And the conflicts arise even in the most perfect marriages.
Of course, yeah.
Talk less of business arrangements. So I want to ask, in cases that conflicts arise, because what I find is that, Tope, when it is time to collect this money, these developers, they are angels.
Correct.
Saints. There is nothing they do not promise.
Yeah.
There is nothing. And then over time, you see this transformation.
Like a new person.
Honestly, this person almost, what's the English to use? Metamorphosis.
Yes. Into a new person.
They just become a new, and you're wondering, where is that cute angel of 2 years ago?
The butterfly has become a tiger.
And what I can't seem to understand is, you ruin these relationships in these previous transactions because you feel that in your new one, you will get new buyers. I just feel that is bad business. And you should, as a developer, I feel that your tape measure for success is how many people are following you
around your new projects.
You should have at least gotten 30 to 40% of previous investors onto your new project, so that you're now using your energy and strength to work better on that new project, and then using just a little energy to get new buyers on board. And if you already have the off-takers from your previous project, it allows you to command price for the new buyers.
Absolutely.
But I find that developers that do this can speak horribly to clients. Just send brash letters. If you don't pay me my money, it's over, basically.
Yeah, no house.
So from your experience, what do you think are effective communication skills that developers need to harness to better their relationships with their clients?
So, when I was speaking earlier, I said people just stumble and say they become developers. There are skill sets that you need to have to be a proper developer. And I don't think any developer should be operating without some good customer service skills. Go and get yourself trained. Beyond having a customer service department, again, I believe that a good tree bears good fruit. So if you, as the leader of the organization, approaches things in a particular way, that's the way that your entire team would also do the same. So the training in customer service needs to start from the head. So you want to be trained, understand what customer service means, how to approach customers, how to communicate with customers. You train yourself and then you train your team. And then there should be no development company that doesn't have a dedicated customer service department. Even if you have only one development with 6 buildings, have somebody whose job is customer service and let them be trained properly to understand what they need to do and do it, and let their key performance indicators be based on how they are able to manage your customers. And that means the monthly updates, and then irregular.
A lot of developers don't give updates.
Monthly updates, what is going on, what's the state of the project, what is the timeline, pictures. Just do that. And you'll find that when people receive that from you monthly, it builds trust, it reduces the brashness when people call you, because you have called them before they will call you.
Right.
And then when there are issues, own up, right? We're operating in, I agree, we're operating in a difficult environment, but you just have to own up. It's like the example of people that say, you can't be owing me money, and then I'm seeing you post, you're in Dubai today, you're there tomorrow, but you don't pick my call, but you're owing me money. It's the same thing. You're owing this person a house.
Yes.
And then you're balling. And then house is not being built. And you say there's no money. So communicate, send updates, own up, say, look, prices of cement have moved from so and so. It's not as planned. It might delay a bit. We're 3 months behind. We're 1 month behind. But we're doing our best to, do what we need to do. Communicate. Let somebody be responsible for sending out monthly updates. Even if the update is that we have added 1 block, update people, And then this other part is so important, and it is that you must make sure that you have done your homework as a developer. And by that I mean, I see people not having approval and starting to build. Right? And then issues come. So you find people, their site is short for 6 months because there was no approval. So even as, as agents, people who are in the business, try to make sure that is part of your due diligence.
Yes.
No matter how sweet the English and the deal is, try to see if he has gotten his documentation in order. Because when Lagos State or FCT or whatever state government comes to shut you down, there's nothing you can do if you don't have the right documentation. You're going to spend money to, take care of things and all of that. But if you are done, at least have some documentation. I've been in this business for a while to know that documentation can take 1 year sometimes.
Yes.
And it can be challenging to wait that long. But let it be that you have done something, there's something in the process, there's something in the pipeline, or at least if you can, have everything. For most of the developments that I do personally, so we are a construction company principally, but we do development once in a while. I don't do anything without having 100% approval.
Or knowing that your developer has approval.
Well, sometimes my developer doesn't have approval.
Really?
And sites have been shut. Yes. It has happened, right? We moved to site and,
How does that impact you?
we have to shut down. And
what about your staff?
So,
the resources?
Well, we have a system that allows us to manage that process,
I see.
Move things around, and more often than not, most of the sites it will not be shut down for long, maybe a week, 2 weeks. We can see that things are progressing. But I've had one, funny you say that, I've had one that has been shut for a year.
Wow.
Yeah, we had started the foundation. We had done the rafts. I'm not sure if we had done the slab, and then Lagos State and shut the site.
So if they are shutting down for a year, surely wouldn't your price have changed?
Oh, of course. So they wrote us maybe a month or 2 months ago that they now have their documents. They are ready to restart. So my initial reaction was even to say, I'm not interested. But then I sat down, thought about it, and said, okay, no problem, we'll carry on. So we revised the bills. We said, okay, this is what it was when we started. This is what it is now. This is the difference. For us to continue, this is what is required, And they know, the closure was not our fault. It was completely theirs. So they will take full responsibility for that. So we'll see all sorts.
Okay, so I'm happy you said they take full responsibility of that. Because Tope, they don't really take full responsibility of that, do they? Maybe some do, but then, just before we started this podcast, we were having a casual conversation. And in effect, these delays, sometimes the cost of it, the developers transfer the cost to
the buyers.
What do you have to say about that? How ethical is that?
That actually is a point. So when I say they take responsibility on our part because we are providing construction services. So we're telling you it was 100 naira, your site was shut for a year, it is now 200 naira. Now, on our end, you must sort us out. Now, on your buyer's end, ideally, you should take responsibility because you are the one that didn't do your job. Right? You didn't do your job properly because when you are selling something, you are convincing the buyer that I've done my job and there should be no issue that would delay this outside of my control. So when there's an issue that delays it, then you have not done your job properly and you should take responsibility. However, as we see many times, in this case, the cost increase is over 50%. They're going to want to transfer it to the buyers. Almost definitely. Now, it now depends.
What if there was a decrease?
Of course, nobody's going to come back.
Nobody's going to come back. That's my biggest problem.
Nobody's going to come back to the buyers. Although, if we look historically, I'm sure if we look at Nigerian market in the last 20 years,
never goes down.
It has never gone down. So that is a highly unlikely situation. But I doubt anybody will go back and say the price has come down.
Now, a lot of clients go to site. Maybe, like you said, government has shut down a site. They go to the site to see what's been going on. Because a lot of times, clients will not warn you. They will just, I'm passing that area. Let me see my site.
Yeah.
A client from diaspora lands into Nigeria to visit Nigeria for a couple of days. And he goes, okay, one of the things he has to do is he wants to go and check on that site. And he comes to this site and the site is shut down. Developer has not told anybody
that there's a problem.
Even you, the agent, doesn't
you don't even know
the site is shut down. It is maybe the client that will call you and tell you, "Come, I'm seeing red in everywhere. What's going on? There's no client on site. There's no, And even if you, the agent, you sincerely believe that work has been going on. So, and this now lands us on the issue of transparency. But then again, I also feel that sometimes too much information
It's also a
good.
problem.
It can also spoil things.
Yes.
So how important do you think transparency is in the developer-client relationship?
So transparency is important, but like you mentioned, you have to manage it. You can't. Sometimes too much information can spook your customers,
Exactly.
can get them worried unnecessarily, because for we that operate in Nigeria, we're used to certain things. Certain things don't surprise us anymore. Like, I mean, almost every other week, one of our sites gets the red marker. And my guys just go, God,
And
they
it
come
doesn't mean
again.
you've done
It
anything
doesn't mean that
bad.
you've done anything bad. One team shows up from another location, said they are task force. They were sent to go and check. They first shut down all the sites and tell everybody to bring all the documents from heaven. And then you are trying to sort that out for 2 weeks. And then maybe that's the time that your client visits. There's no way you can be informing the client of everything, right? So, but if they show up, you own up. Right? If they show up, you own up. But when you see that a situation is going to be extended, I would say anything beyond 2 weeks, it would be good to notify them and just let them know this is what is going on. We're working on it.
Because if not, it comes across as irresponsible.
As irresponsible. Anything beyond 2 weeks of your site being inactive due to regulatory, statutory, government matters, you should absolutely notify your clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, our developers, right? Like we talked about. I talked to you about developers should be able to transfer clients from previous relationships to
New projects.
From previous projects to new projects, and that's all part of building a long-term relationship. But Tope, I seriously feel our developers need advice. Honestly, what advice can you give developers to maintain a long-term relationship with their clients? Because, what's wrong with having a buyer that will follow you for the next 10 years? I feel like, why do developers think that that's a curse? Your client should be able to follow you until the end of your career.
Yeah.
That's how good of a developer you should be. A client should say, this developer, I don't put my money anywhere else.
Except with him.
And he has always developed. He has always delivered. So what advice can you give to our developers, please, on keeping and building long-term relationships?
So I think is foundational in just people's attitude in general. And, I said you can't get good fruit from a bad tree. So people are very short-term minded. We're in a generation of microwave. Everybody wants it now.
I like that.
You want to hammer now. You see somebody driving G-Wagon, you want to drive G-Wagon tomorrow. All of that is transmitted, it's translated, it flows into everything we're talking about. So you must start from the right mindset. This mindset is becoming very short in supply. Is a long-term view mindset, a long-suffering mindset. That I'm in this thing for the long haul. I want to be known for doing good work, even if I have to sacrifice immediate comfort. So that is where it starts from. If you have that kind of mindset, nobody needs to preach to you that you need to carry your customers from your first project all through your other projects. But if you have a short-term mindset, you are thinking of now. How can you buy a G-Wagon tomorrow? How can you move, go to Dubai, do all of that. So it stems from that. So I think the beginning of it is the kind of people that are going into this business. What is their mindset? What is their background? Where are they coming from? And then if we're able to get the right mindset across to them, then we can begin to tell them that,
How do we get the right mindset?
We just keep talking about it. We keep talking about it. And then if it's possible for us to start having some penalties. Because the problem is that any society where there are no consequences, people will, get away with crime and just keep on repeating the same thing. So But we need to see if we can create some penalties, whether through associations, through government, to shut people down, punish them, do all sorts, so that the penalty for doing badly.
Yeah,
There's fear, so that you feel like if I misbehave, they're going to shut me down. It's going to be a problem. I'm not going to be able to feed. That fear will make people behave, and then we can continue, advocacy in saying, look, even from a business point of view, it is easier to resell to an existing customer. It's cheaper.
Honestly,
right?
It is.
Than to try to obtain a new customer. So even from a financial, economic standpoint, it makes more business sense for you to make sure that you keep your old customers. So, but that is even the end of the chain. The beginning of the chain is the mindset. Then somewhere in the middle, we create penalties. Then we now tell them, even from an economic point of view, it makes more business sense from you to try to make sure that your old customers are satisfied so that it's easier for you to sell the next project. They will be the one that will come and say, developer, when is your next project? As a matter of fact, they will do it so much that it's even their ginger or their money that would motivate you to go on the next project because they are so satisfied with you. And that, from a business point, it makes all the sense.
So I know you mentioned escrows as, a mechanism for building trust, but like going forward in Nigeria, how do you see the developer-client relationship evolving? Like what do you see the future of it looking like?
So, while I see we have a lot of challenges, I just believe that as the industry matures, everybody will find their level, right? Things would eventually stabilize, both from a government perspective and even from the industry. The industry needs to self-regulate, right? We need to find a way to self-regulate so that the people who are doing bad will not give everybody a bad name. So the industry needs to come together and find a way to self-regulate. So I believe strongly, even based on the trend, if we just look at the past 10 years, we can see that the industry is taking shape. So I believe that shape is going to improve, and very soon you will be able to identify the serious developers and separate them from those who are not serious. And eventually, because we're even in the age of social media, when you can see, social media posts, of people calling out developers who are misbehaving, and that trend is going to grow. So yes, that trend is going to grow. People are going to call you out if you misbehave. So by reason of that, because of the fear of being called out, for those who even have a reputation to protect, some don't even care. We are dealing with people.
Some have no conscience.
They have no conscience. For those who have a reputation to protect, just the fear of being called out will make you sit up and behave better. So the industry self-regulating, government stepping in to do things properly. And Lagos State is trying, I've got to say.
Okay.
They have a real estate group, association, this, that, trying to put some things in place to protect the industry. So I believe as those things stabilize, very soon it will become more and more difficult to have rogue developers rolling around the street, especially in places like Lagos and the FCT.
Amazing. A bad person cannot give you a good product.
No.
That was my take home from this, honestly. Yeah. My goodness, Tope, it has been an amazing time with you. I've learned so much, and I'm very, very sure our viewers, our listeners, they have learned a lot from you today. So thank you so much for showing up and showing out. Thank you for your nuggets of wisdoms. And I hope our developers are hearing this. And I know that many of you are culprits. I'm so certain of it. So I hope that you've taken something back from this today, and you would, from this, improve your client relationship. If you need training, honestly, and I actually do find that a lot of developers don't get training on sales. Yeah. But they are salespeople, and they don't get the training that they require. They think it's only the people that are coming to work for them that require training.
You also need to be trained.
So I definitely agree with you on the fact that our developers should get some client relationship training and sales training and all that. So thank you so much for your time today, Tope.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So guys, my name is Amara Musa and this is Deal Landers, and we've been talking to Temitope Runsewe, the CEO of Dutum. And that's all we have for now, guys. Bye-bye.